may never wear it, but she save it so our babies will be flyer than their parents. And her pistol go. Her pistol go.
What is the deal, beautiful people? My name is Ramon. Welcome to Lifestyles Defined. And this is another episode of AMA. How this works is you ask your questions in the comment section below, no matter what they are, and we will get back to you on videos to come. Today's question comes from EH503, and he asks, do you believe that Project Islandwood will actually help the app gap? Windows Phone he's talking. Or do you think developers won't care about it? Well, for those of you not, thank you for your question, sir, by the way. For those of you not in the know, Project Islandwood was one of two. I forgot the name of the other one that they just, Astoria, Project Astoria. So Project Astoria was the ability for Microsoft to take an APK, which is an Android wrapper or installation file for an application, and just run it natively in Windows Phone. The way they were doing that was they were doing it with a subset of Android was in actual Windows Phone, and it would pretty much be an emulation. And there are a lot of issues with that, or so I thought, and I didn't really like that approach, but you know, whatever. Versatility is versatility, and it turned out Microsoft thought it wasn't the best idea, or perhaps it wasn't the better of the two, and they canned it. Now, Islandwood is a bit different. Islandwood is a bridge, or it's this code that, how to put it in layman's terms, I guess it unengineers or iOS applications. Maybe that's a terrible way of putting it. It understands the iOS code and what makes an application, and then it rewrites it for the Windows world to understand. So what that does is, I believe last time I read up on it, they say about 90% of the code used to make an iOS app will work right out the gate in Project Islandwood. So essentially developers can copy and paste their code, and then, you know, that other 10%, which is really not much work, they can tweak that and then get that application up and running on the Windows Phone in native Windows Phone code. So what that does is you're looking at, sure, the update process is a little more involving with that last 10% of work, but you don't have to re-engineer the application, right? And this should have, in theory, should be very appealing to iOS developers. And I think one of the advantages Islandwood had over Project Astoria is one of the things that never changed in the smartphone world is iOS usually gets these innovative applications first. It's still like that to this day for various reasons. And I think it was Islandwood is just a better choice, and especially when you take into effect that it's going to be native code, and there's some dopeness that's going on there as well, right? So the hooks or the APIs that you would see for Siri would be replaced for things with Cortana and Bing and so on and so forth. So I think there's a lot of dope stuff that's going on in Project Islandwood. And do I think it'll help the app gap? So I think a lot of the issues with Windows Phone cannot be solved at Windows Phone. They need to really come from a different level or a different perspective. What I mean by that is we need to look at the App Store in Windows 10, period, right? And universal apps. So a universal app is an application that can scale across the Microsoft ecosystem. Microsoft made, I'm sure most of you know, but for those of you who don't, Windows Phone, Windows 10, Windows 10 on tablet, PC, on the Xbox, and even on the HoloLens, they all run the same code. So a universal app is an application that's developed for that in mind, and it can change its UI. You know, if it's on the Xbox, it uses a controller. If it's on the PC, it uses a mouse and keyboard. If it's on your phone, then it uses a touchscreen. And I think this is a very powerful tool for developers. And when you look at the success rate of Windows 10 and how much people adapted it and how much good praise it's been getting, the App Store is ripe for the picking right now. It's a good place for developers to make money. So take your favorite iOS game, right? Copy and paste it. Put some hooks in there instead of the Game Center. Put some Xbox Live hooks in there, and boom, it's available on the Windows 10 store. so people on a computer get it. And then by happenstance, if people figure out some way, you know what, if I buy this here and I get a Windows phone, it's already there, it's the same thing, and I'm rocking out. That's also dope. So I think Islandwood wouldn't really solve directly the problem of the Windows Phone or the app gap. I think Islandwood will help developers realize the power of the Windows 10 App Store and the install base of Windows 10, which would then turn around and help Windows Phone. Do developers care about it? I think they should. There's a lot of money to be made there. And I don't understand. I don't even think it's a stigma at this point. I think it's a very snobbish way I hear developers talk about Windows, and not Windows Phone alone, just Windows in general. It can be perplexing. It's like, you know, I don't understand why, but whatever. Especially when Microsoft makes the best tools hands down for these developers to do their thing. It can be baffling at times, but again, it's one of those things where we're just going to have to sit and wait for the 6th year in a row when it comes to Windows Phone. How long can we wait? Are you still waiting? My name is Ramon. Thank you for your question, sir. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more coming. I'm out of here. Peace.
From the deep forest into the sun.